Welcome here into the broadcast. We have got it on just in time. Griffin Leonard here with you for Kingsmen Baseball on the air. 0-1 to Caden McNeil after he just swung at what you just saw was the first pitch of the ball game. If you're joining us live, thanks for being here. But this will be uploaded later. The camera that is live is down on the field. It'll have a better view. As you can see, we've just got home plate today, as McNeil's going to see the next pitch. Takes it for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike here to Caden McNeil, the game's opening hitter. We'll talk a lot more about this ballpark and the significance behind this game as we go on. Caden McNeil's the leadoff man, top of the first. 2-1 count and a ground ball towards second base. It takes a high hop and gets into right center. Here we go. McNeil heading to second. The ball's into the high grass at right center. And time is going to be called. McNeil got into third base, and we'll see if they end up putting him back on second or if he is indeed given the triple. There's no fences here. I'll see if during one of the innings breaks I can pan the camera around and show you. We're kind of locked down to the current view we have, and I'll explain why here in a few minutes. But first, we'll get our bearings as we have a ball game to play. It's a leadoff triple for Caden McNeil. McNeil hitting first, followed up by Riley Darby. First 3 hitters are the same as in Saturday's win over Esperanza. A couple changes. We'll walk you through those momentarily. Griffin Leonard here with you for Kingsmen Baseball. Thanks for joining us here in Boca de Chavon, right across the way from La Romana. Beautiful village here that has always been so gracious to us. There's an outside corner strike to Riley Darby. As I'll show you here in a few minutes, but as you can kind of see, it isn't exactly the most glamorous baseball field that you've seen in your life, as the 0-1 comes flying in, and it goes to the backstop, a very, very short backstop here. They throw back towards second, and it gets into left field. McNeil's going to trot home with the game's first run, and the Kingsmen take an early lead here at Boca de Chavon. This field is situated just right in the heart of this village, Boca de Chavon, coastal village right on the edge of the water, southern coast of the DR. Next pitch to Riley Darby, and that is just outside. The infield and outfield would be tough to tell apart if it were not for the bases and the pitcher's mound that occupy the infield. 3 balls and 1 strike, Riley Darby at the plate. There's no infield dirt, there's no outfield grass. It's kind of that same look throughout this field. No fences, just some high grass, and there's a boat out in center as Riley Darby walks with nobody out. This is a village that the team have played a number of games in since coming out here for the first time. Coach Hudak on his 20th trip now to the DR. Josh Jackson, the next to hit up at the plate here with 1 away, or rather with nobody out, runner on first. Good start for the Kingsmen offense. They tied Boca de Chavon last year. There's a strike. They are gunning for a win today. Coach Hudak and the Kingsmen hold a very, very good record down here in the Dominican. They have only lost twice. There's a swing and a miss. The summer team has only lost 1 time. It is the Kingsmen Academy that dropped a game in January when we were down here. There's a big cut, and Josh Jackson goes down swinging. First out of the game, and hey, even though it's a swinging strikeout, little punch-out action from our home plate umpire. It is not Emilio today. One down, man on first. Mason Ritzma the hitter. First pitch comes in, runner on the move, throw down to second is high, the tag is not in time. Stolen base for Riley Darby. He's on second here with one out. Runner in scoring position for the Kingsmen. Ritzma up at the plate, the extra hitter today. And that's outside. Christian Burney doing the catching for the Kingsmen in place of Ritzma. After his performance in the last game, Mason has got his batting average up to an even 300. 12 hits in 40 ABs. There's a tapper towards short. Tough play, backhand stop, though on a hop to first. Oh, that's a nice scoop. First baseman made a great play to get Ritzma. Meanwhile, Darby up to third base, and the Kingsmen have a man 90 feet away here with two down. But again, we apologize about the lack of visibility here with this camera. The live view, which I will keep available after posting this version, has a much better view of the pitcher's mound. But I'll pan out to show you over the next half inning or so. When we go to the half inning break, we won't step aside. I'll instead take you through a tour of this ballpark. Brady Yarborough, the shortstop, batting fifth. There's the ball high. Following Yarborough today, Burney, Lazari, Anders, Harless, and Bisbano. The starting 10 for the Kingsmen. 1 ball, no strikes. Brady Yarborough trying to score the Kingsmen's second run. He swings and hits a line drive into right field. That's a base hit. 2-0 off of the RBI single from Brady Yarborough, and the Kingsmen once again strike here in the first inning. Christian Burney at the plate now with 2 down, 2 runs on the board for the Kingsmen here in the first. That's a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. This Boca de Chavon team made up of a collection of local talent. It's not an academy like we'll see on Thursday with Paulino, for example. That ball hit right back to the pitcher. On to first they go, and Boca de Chavon out of the first inning. 2 runs across for the Kingsmen. Give me 10 seconds to get my bearings here, and I'll take you on a tour of this beautiful ballpark. Back here, bottom of the first inning. Griffin Leonard here with you. This is a beautiful spot to play a ball game as we welcome you back into Boca de Chavon here in the Dominican Republic. Coastal village just right off the coast of the water on the south side of the island. Right down the road from Casa de Campo and La Romana where the team is staying. And we get an opportunity now to just kind of take a peek around the surroundings of this ballpark. First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to the locals here for being so welcoming. In fact, there's, as you can see, not really a press box here in the ballpark. I'm actually in the upstairs room of one of the locals' houses here. She, as she did last year, opened her doors to me and the rest of the Kingsmen. I've been able to set up the broadcast in her living room. I'm going to take the camera here and try to show you a couple of different things. We've got, I apologize for this, working on the fly. A simple little setup around the living room. It's just a 2-room house, and she's opened it up to us without a second thought, and we are truly grateful for that. You look out toward the field here, and this is what we've got. We're right down the road from some of the local houses. No fence out in the outfield. And that's our view of the ballpark. Once again, so thankful for the folks that are helping put this game together. As I'll get things situated back, we're now preparing for the bottom of the first inning, a 2-0 Kingsman lead. And you can see the live camera down there. If you're joining us live, that's where it's situated. Welcome in. So bottom of the first inning here once we get a batter into the box. Christian Burney, the catcher for the Kingsmen. And Nick George on the mound. We'll walk you through the defense here in one moment. First pitch at the bottom of the first inning. It's a ball, and it gets by to the backstop. No harm, no foul with the bases empty. Caden McNeil is in left field today. Josh Jackson out in center. Tristan Harless is the right fielder. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch. There's a ground ball. It squirts up the middle, and it's a base hit. Leadoff knock here for Boca de Chavon. Kingsmen on the board early, but the local home team trying to even out the score after surrendering a few early. Infield for the Kingsmen today, Riley Darby at the hot corner. Brady Yarborough is at third. Gino Lazzari, the second baseman, and then, of course, Davis Anders playing first base for these Kingsmen. Coach Joe Hudak took a visit to the mound. He's walking back. That's the reason for the delay here. Hot one in Boca de Chavon. Most days that we've been out here, it's been sitting around 90 or 91 degrees. Can often feel hotter than that with the summer heat here in the Dominican. First pitch here to the left-handed two-hole hitter. That's a strike at the top of the zone. Nick George making the start today on the mound. George joined the team late. He's recovering, as we mentioned a few times, from Tommy John surgery. Such a difficult rehab. But he's powered through it well as that ball's outside. Bernie catches, and it's 1-1. Nick George this season, his fourth start. He's 1-1. Record-wise, 2.3 ERA. Just 11 hits given up over 6 1/3. And George is on his way to the dugout. Nick George not feeling well. That's not a good sign. We're going to step aside. I think the Kingsmen going to put a new pitcher in the ballgame. We'll be right back here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Back here in the bottom of the first, we've zoomed it out a little bit. We've gotten first base secured. I think that'll be a much better view for you all at home. Unfortunately, we're unable to see the pitcher's mound as a result of that palm tree that you can see to your left. That was not there, at least not in that level of height, the last time we were at this ballpark. But 'tis nature. First pitch from Willow Shields is a ball. Willow Shields into pitch. After Nick George went just one batter, you have to assume it's injury-related, and you hope that he is all right. Better safe than sorry. Hopefully he just felt a little twinge and decided that it wasn't worth risking. As that ball's lasered into right field, that's another base hit. Harless up with it. They're going to hold the runner at second, and it's second and first with one out, or rather with no one out, here in the bottom of the first inning. This Boca de Chavon team can hit. I remember last year they were down going into the last inning. A play ripped a double into the gap in right field. And that ended up allowing them to tie that ball game. But the Kingsmen up 2-0. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first. Tying runs aboard. First pitch from O'Shields. Check swing foul. There aren't really any dugouts here, as you might have been able to see when we were panning around to look at the field. There are a number of people here watching the game, including some Kingsmen parents, but primarily those that live in this area. And our players and their players are kind of just sitting amongst them. 0-1. There's a swing and a pop-up on the infield. Infield fly will be called, as that's Gino Lazzari that makes the catch, and that's out number one. Here comes the cleanup man for Boca de Chavon. And as I pointed out to Mason Ritzma before the game, he's rocking a Toronto Blue Jays Aaron Sanchez jersey, as now the throw goes to third base and everybody's safe. Willow Shields picked to first. Davis Anders was pulled off the bag, but he had the ball. Both runners tried to advance. Anders went to third instead of to second, and everyone is safe. So runners on second and third now for Boca de Chavon with one out. That's a ball. Two singles and a pop-out so far for the home Boca de Chavon team. There's a chopper foul. After the foul ball, the right-hander digs in and sees the pitch fly in and get called on the inside corner. That was a generous call, and it was not one that this right-hander loved. There's a big boy on deck. I have been told that we've seen players play for this team as old as 38 years old. No idea how old this next man is, but he is certainly not 18. 2 strikes and the pitch. There's a foul ball into the screen. A wild cut to stay alive. Trying to score a couple runs here. A base hit could very well tie the score here in the bottom of the first. Swing and a miss. Got him with the high fastball. That's the first strikeout for Willow Shields, and there are 2 away. That's a good pitch. Put it right above the letters, right under the shoulder blades. It's a tough one to lay off, and after Sanchez, or at least the man wearing the Sanchez jersey, had chased and fouled off 2 previous pitches, you might as well go out of the zone. Second and third, 2 away. Kingsman with a chance to get out of the inning, and the first pitch is low and away. Top of the second, we'll see Lazari, Anders, and Harless, 7, 8, 9, with Bisbano waiting if they get through the minimum. Kingsman sent 6 hitters to the plate in the top of the first. 1-0 pitch. That is just high. 2 balls and no strikes. McNeil, Jackson, Harless in the outfield. Darby, Yarborough, Lazari, and Anders around the infield, with Christian Burney doing the catching. Two outs, 2-0 in the pitch. Line drive, center field. Josh Jackson didn't see it, and that ball's down. Both runners are going to come in to score on a 2-run single. Josh Jackson never saw it. Yarborough was running after it into shallow center, but that's the outfielder's ball if he had a better track on it. But instead it gets down, and it is tied up at 2 apiece. Tough one for the Kingsmen. That was certainly soft enough contact that they expect an out from it. Runner on first, 2 down, and the pitch. Ball. 1 ball, no strikes. If you're joining us late, then welcome. If you're skimming through looking for the highlights, we hope you have many more to go. There's a fly ball down the left field line. It's fair. It's down, and the runner on his way to third. He's going to come around to score here. I believe it's going to be a double. I can't see down the line, unfortunately, but that's the left fielder, McNeil, that got it in eventually, and it's an RBI double for Boca de Chavon to take the lead. Just as the camera only has so much visibility, as do I. Another lefty at the plate now after the 4th hit of the inning for Boca de Chavon. They came ready to play today. Runner on second, 2 down. O'Shields getting the sign from Christian Burney. Burney sets up shop. And here's the first offering. Outside corner strike, hits the zone. Oh, there's a ground ball, a chopper towards second. Gino Lazari is up with it. Throws to first, and the inning is over. Boca de Chavon strike back. It's 3-2 after 1. We go to the second where Gino Lazari leads it off when we come back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Top of the second inning here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network here from Boca de Chavon in the Dominican Republic. Griffin Leonard here with you and Gino Lazzari ready to lead off the second. Kingsmen down after one inning. They scored 2 early runs. Katie McNeil started it off with a triple. But Boca de Chavon responding well, 3 runs off of 4 hits. And now the offense for the Kingsmen will have to find an answer. First pitch of the second inning to the lefty Lazzari, called strike. It's 0-1. Thanks for joining us. This is the recorded version of this broadcast. The live version, with, in all honesty, a slightly better camera angle, is up as well, as Lazzari hooks it down the right field line, and it's down the line into the corner. That ball is onto the road, and it'll be called a double for Gino Lazzari. Mentioned it earlier, there's no fences here besides the small backstop that you can see behind home plate. That ball hooked down the line, and then when it snuck over the foul line after landing fair, it hopped up onto the paved road to our right. So that'll do for a double. Leadoff man on. Lazzari's on second. Here comes Davis Anders. Runner on second, nobody out. Kingsmen with the tying run in scoring position. There's a strike. No balls in a strike here. Nobody out. Runner in scoring position. That's the tying run. And now Anders hits it down the line, but foul. Nobody out here. Top 2, 3-2 the score. Both teams come alive in the first. There's currently a supply truck of some sort being backed in right behind the first base dugout. Never know what you're going to see here in Boca de Chavon. We walked in and there was a chicken running across the left side of the infield. Some action on the right side of the field. Some bullpen action for Boca de Chavon. That double is the third hit for the Kingsmen. Davis Anders trying to make it 4. He demolishes that ball deep to left, and I think this one might be gone. There goes Gino Lazzari. Davis Anders gonna keep on running, and it has been called a home run, I think. That ball was destroyed. Coach Joe Hudak talking to the home plate umpire. Davis Anders wanting it to be a home run. We'll see if they get called for a ground rule double or if it is a homer. Once again, no fences here at the ballpark. We'll see how this ends up getting played out. Kike is out to help coach talk to the home plate umpire. If that's not a home run, I'm not sure how you're supposed to hit a ball out of this ballpark. I can't tell you for sure how far that house is away. It got to the backyard of the house on a hop. That probably is 425 feet away. Davis Anders walking back toward the bases. And we'll see where they put him. He's going to go to second. So maybe the longest double in the career of Davis Anders, maybe the longest in the history of Kingsmen baseball. Tie score at 3-3. And that is just one of those things that's going to happen here at Boca de Chavon. It's part of the reason why this ballpark is so fun. You can't predict what's going to happen. It's just such a unique baseball experience as Tristan Harless steps in left-hand side. Runner on second, and it's a tie game at 3. First pitch gets by the catcher, and Anders on his way to third. Back-to-back doubles started this inning. Kingsmen grab one back, looking for more. Going to be a high-scoring affair at this rate, folks. You better strap in. Kingsmen got the win on Saturday by a score of 10-6 over Esperanza. They'll play Thursday and Friday against Paulino Academy and the Hiroshima Toyo Carp. Harless takes a big cut. He comes up empty, 1-1. That was a low pitch. Not quite in the dirt, but not quite in the strike zone either. Boca de Chavon infield back. Here's the 1-1 with the runner on third base. And Harless punches it foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Justin Harless trying to give the Kingsmen their first lead since the top of the second inning. They have not led since Boca de Chavon knotted things up with that 2-out single. There's another foul ball to keep this one alive for Harless. Harless swings to the 2-strike fastball, bounces it to first. Nice backhand scoop. The run's going to come in to score, but that at least gets them the out. That is a beauty of a play from the Boca de Chavon first baseman, and the Kingsmen score to make it 4-3. Not too shabby from the Boca de Chavon infield. You know, I think one of those stereotypes as far as Dominican baseball is concerned is they can throw it fast and they can hit it hard. But some of the fundamentals aren't necessarily there. I'm always impressed when we're down here at some of the defensive plays that these teams are able to make. Right on par with some web gems we've seen from the Kingsmen this season. 0-1, Bisbano takes ball 1 low. Bases are clear now for him with 1 down. One run lead for the Kingsmen. The next pitch to Bisbano is hit high into the air and foul, heading toward one of the nearby houses, and it's 1-2. See if anybody tries to track down that baseball. 2 strikes to Bisbano. 1 down here in the top of the second inning. We're supposed to play 7. We'll see how many we end up getting in. There's a swing and a miss and a strikeout. Second strikeout for the Boca de Chavon starting pitcher here today. That one will bring the top of the order back around. Caden McNeil tripled to start this ball game. And he'll hit here with 2 down and nobody on. 4-3 your score on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Griffin Leonard here with you. 3 games, including this one, remaining in the 2026 summer season. It has flown by. We appreciate everyone's support throughout this process. Been fun every step of the ride with these guys. McNeil takes strike 1. So no balls and 1 strike. And that is in there for strike 2. So 0-2 here, 2 down. McNeil trying to keep the inning alive. He hits it into center, and that's into center field for a base hit. Second hit of the game for McNeil. He's having himself a day. And they've got themselves a 2-out base runner here in the top of the second. Not too bad for Caden McNeil. He's looked good swinging the bat today. A line drive between the middle infielders that time. Brings up Riley Darby, who walked the only walk of this ball game for either side so far. That's certainly a good sign. Always love when the ball stays over the plate. Top two, bottom of the inning, we'll see the 8 and 9 hitters, and then we'll see how deep into the order they go. That's fouled off, and it is 0-1. There were a couple of Boca de Chavon players warming up down the first base line. Now you can sort of see in the top right corner of your screen, there's somebody throwing in the outfield, in fair territory. Runner on the move, that ball's down the line, and it's fair. Here goes McNeil on to third, Darby on his way to second, and it's into the corner and onto that road. They're going to send McNeil back to third base, and it's another double for the Kingsmen. Nothing staying in this ballpark here today. This has been an extraordinary hitting effort for both teams through the first inning and a half, and it is 4-3 with 2 down. 2 now in scoring position for Josh Jackson. Time called. The Boca de Chavon coach on his way out to talk to his pitcher. We'll see if a move is made. We're going to step aside for 30 seconds. Be back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Top 2 resumes here after that quick mound visit. Josh Jackson is at the plate. He takes a called strike. Kingsman looking to add a couple more to the scoreboard here in inning number 2. They scored 2 in the first, 2 so far in the second. And they've got a man who has been red hot at the plate, up with a couple right there for the taking. Josh Jackson's been on a tear of late, hitting over 350 over the last couple of weeks. Here he is. And there's a swing and a hard line driving to left. The left fielder racing back. Oh, what a catch! Falling to the ground as he makes a spectacular catch to retire the side here in the top of the second. Robbing the Kingsmen of 2 runs and another extra base hit. What a play. We go to the bottom half. It's 4-3 here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Bottom of the second inning here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. It is 4-3 after the Kingsmen retook the lead in the top of the second. Nearly had a couple more, but a great catch in left field denied Josh Jackson of a couple of bases. As we go to the bottom of the second inning, 8-9 hitters due up for Boca de Chavon. They took an early lead after the Kingsmen were up. Boca de Chavon came roaring back, scored 3 in the bottom of the first. We'll see if the runs keep on flowing here in this beautiful Dominican village. We've been here a couple of times now. We were here last year. This is just my second year coming out here with the summer team, but this has been a mainstay of a game location. So grateful to everyone in Boca de Chavon for their hospitality, and especially to the folks here who have literally let me into their home in order to run this stream, sitting in the living room of a few of the locals here in Boca de Chavon. There's a called strike. It's 0-1. Willow Shields back on the mound after Nick George was removed after just one hitter. And time called with the count 0-1. Josh Jackson out in center field. He's joined by Caden in left, Tristan Harless in right. The 0-1 dances outside. Christian Birney, the catcher today. Davis Anders at first base. Gino Lazzari at second. Riley Darby at third base. And then Brady Yarborough playing shortstop. 1-1 strike. The pitch. There's a chopper towards second. Davis Anders came off of first, so he goes to the pitcher, but it gets by. And it hops into the dugout. The runner will head to second base. Davis Anders came off of first base to field that himself. I do think Gino Lazzari would have got there, but the first baseman took charge, could not link up with the Kingsman pitcher to make that out in the end, and the tying run is in scoring position to start off this inning. There's a ball outside. Kenny McNeil in left field. He's 2 for 2 today. Riley Darby has a hit. Brady Yarborough, Lazzari, Anders all have hits their first time. 1-0. That's in there for a strike. The batter tried to call time, but Willow Shields had already started his motion, so it wasn't granted, and the pitch finds the zone. 1-1 strike. The pitch. That's just high. 2 balls and a strike now. Some features of the ballpark. There's a basketball hoop just to the side of first base in foul territory. The dugouts, as mentioned, not quite true dugouts. 2-1. Outside corner strike to make it 2-2. The dugouts, as mentioned earlier, kind of a part of the stands. There's some spectators sitting with the players on both teams, which is always fun. And then you have a boat, and I mean that literally, a boat out in center field. Makeshift hit me here. 2-2. Ground ball toward Anders. This time he makes the play himself, takes it to the bag, and that's out number 1. Second ground ball hit his way in a row. This time he gets the out, and the runner moves to third base. Once again, you can see that palm tree just under our scoreboard on the top left side of that screen. When we were here 2 years ago, and that was when Alan Cahaley was here running the broadcast. Shout out to Alan for the work he did over the course of what I believe was 5 years with the Kingsmen summer team, working at North Greenville. There's a foul ball, 0-1. When Alan was here 2 years ago, that palm tree was nothing but maybe a foot off the ground. It was growing, but it was growing slowly. It likely recently been planted not too long ago. There's another ground ball to Davis Anders. He's going to take it to the bag himself, and the run comes in to score. So 3 ground balls to Anders, 2 of them outs, one of them results in a run after the error. 4-4 here in Boca de Chavon as the home team gives the Kingsmen a run for their money yet again. 2-2, or rather 4-4 here in the bottom of inning number 2, and 2 outs. Here's a lefty with the bases clear. Ball 1. And anyway, I remember this palm tree last year when we were here. It was sprouting up. It was just over the overhang of a few seats that are just off to the left side of your screen. There's a strike. And you could see the pitcher's mound peeking up just on the other side of it. And I remember saying, I wonder if we're going to be able to see the mound next year. And the answer is no. So 1-1, the ground ball off the end of the bat toward Brady Yarbrough. Yarbrough throws sidearm to first base, and the inning is over. Few ground balls, one of them results in an error and then an unearned run. 1 run for Boca de Chavon in the second. We go to inning number 3, and we're all square at 4. We'll be right back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Top of the third here at Boca de Chavon. Griffin Leonard here with you. Thanks for joining us as we roll into the third inning, all knotted up at 4. Boca de Chavon have roared back with offense at every chance they've gotten. They tallied 1 in the bottom of the second to tie this one back up, and Ritzma leads off the third. First pitch from a new arm, and it's a flare shot just over the head of the third baseman, and it's into left field. Ritzma takes a wide turn and heads to second. Here comes the throw. It pulls the man off the bag, and Ritzma's in there with a leadoff double. That was an aggressive send from Preston Hudak, but it works out for the Kingsmen. It's a leadoff double, and they've got a man in scoring position. Mason Ritzma was one of just 3 hitters that did not come to the plate in the second inning. Kingsmen brought 7 hitters to the plate in the second after bringing 6 in the first. Everybody's gotten their hacks early on in this ball game, and we'll see Brady Yarborough get his second time at it. He's 1 for 1 with a single himself. There's a swing and a miss. The ball's in 1 strike. Thank you for joining us here. If you're joining us post live here, we have that live camera down closer to the field. There's a hard hit foul ball straight into the tree to my right and into one of the neighbors' yards here. That backstop very, very low. Kind of hard to see from this vantage point, but it's probably only about 8 feet off of the ground. The next pitch. That's outside. But anyway, we have that live camera sitting down. You can see it at the bottom of your screen just behind the umpire, capturing live action from this one. It's our setup for all 4 games down here. We'll have that live camera, and then we'll have this version posted later. So if you're joining us for this version, we appreciate your extended support of Kingsmen baseball. Hopefully you're having fun joining alongside me for the ride. It's a ball high to Yarborough. I believe the count is 2-2 now. And it is. Yarborough up, Bernie on deck, then Gino Lazzari. Christian Bernie, one of just 3 players that does not yet have a hit for this Kingsmen team. The hits have come in bunches early on for the Kingsmen. They have 5 extra base hits in this ball game already, including the leadoff double from Ritzma. 2-2, lasered. And it just misses a car that was driving by the first base line. No fence down there to shield anything from foul territory. That one came in scorching hot. There's also a dog trotting around near that basketball hoop I mentioned earlier, and he'll need to be on his toes. 2 balls and 2 strikes, nobody out. Preston Hudak throwing in that foul ball back to the catcher, who hands it to the home plate umpire. We appreciate your patience with the view of the ballpark. A palm tree just to the left there, preventing us from being able to see the pitcher's mound, but we can see home plate and first base. That works for me. 3 balls and 2 strikes. I'll try to fill in the gaps. In the meantime, 3 balls and 2 strikes after that ball. Yarborough up, Bernie on deck, Lazzari in the hole, then Anders, Harless, and Bisbano the rest of the way this second time through the order. Kingsmen have scored in every inning. Both teams have scored in every half inning of this ball game. Kingsmen could retake the lead here in the third, keep the pressure on their Boca de Chavon hosts. Payoff pitch coming here to Yarborough. Right-hander set at the waist. He comes home. Another foul ball. Yarborough watched that one fly a couple houses deep into the village here of Boca de Chavon. Just across the way from the Casa de Campo Marina. 3-2. There's a line drive up the middle, and it's into center field. Ritzema got late going to third. He's going to put on the brakes. The throw went all the way to the plate over the cutoff man, and Yarborough to second as a result of the throw. Second hit of the game for Yarborough. It'll go as a single, and it's second and third with nobody out as the Kingsmen hunt their third lead. Christian Burney up at the plate. He has the chance to give them that lead after Yarborough and Ritzema have started this inning strong. But anyway, as I was saying, the Casa de Campo Marina just across the way. You walk to the water here and you can see what is multi-million-dollar yachts lining the waters there. Casa de Campo is one of the most beautiful resorts in the Dominican Republic. We have the pleasure of staying there every time we're able to come down here. It is such a pleasure to be down there in the beautiful villa that we get to call home for a week and a half. And there are quite a number of clearly very wealthy people that either live full-time or are renting a villa down there for some vacation. That ball bounces way up in the air. Ritzema panicked and went back to third. That was a weird one, folks. You probably could see it just launch off your screen. It bounced off the concrete slab behind home plate and about 20 feet in the air. Ritzema held on the brakes, so it stays second and third. That pitch is outside. It's interesting because of the proximity to the marina and to the rest of Casa de Campo for that matter, where the villa that we're staying is only about 1.5 miles from here, Boca de Chavon. That ball's just outside. Yet it takes us half an hour to get to the ballpark. And the reason for that is we have to go all the way around. There's only one way in, one way out. Two reasons for that. The first of which I would assume being safety. Less security needed, of course, if there's only one entrance and one exit. As Bernie's next pitch swung on and missed and fouled off. It was just off the glove of the catcher. Still second and third. And then I would suppose the other reason being, you know, they don't want anyone that is not authorized to be in there to be able to wander on in. It's a sad reality of this country. It's a third world country with some beautiful things full of wealth inside it. But the classes are kept very separate from one another, which is a shame. As Christian Burney walks to first, that ball is low. You look at a place like Boca de Chavon here, it is beautiful. People are so lovely. It's all but 1 mile from millions of dollars, and yet that money will not come across the water this way. And it is a shame that many places around the world are just like this, as we're going to see a pitching change here. We'll step aside, bases loaded, nobody out. The Kingsmen have a big opportunity on the cards when we come back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. New pitcher on the mound here, top three. Griffin Leonard here on the call with you for Kingsmen baseball, 4-4. Opportunity for the Kingsmen to get on the board in a big bunch. Bases loaded, nobody out. Gino Lazzari at the plate, who doubled his last time. First pitch from the reliever, set to come in here. Lazzari's ready, and he took the bat and put it about halfway through the strike zone. A check swing, but it was in there for a strike anyway. 0-1. Bernie at first. That's Yarborough at second, Ritzma at third base. The home plate umpire going to brush a little dirt off of home plate. One thing I really enjoy about this game in particular is the engagement that happens between the Kingsmen players and some of the kids here, especially that are here to watch the ball game. There's a number of kids, probably about age 8, that are right behind home plate just off your screen. As Gino Lazzari set to see the 0-1. Ready, comes set. Here's the offering, and it's hit up the middle into center field, down for a base hit. Yarborough around third. He's going to stop, and it's an RBI single for the Kingsmen that sees them retake the lead here in the top of the third. 5-4. Kingsmen back on top here at Boca de Chavon. But as I was saying, there's a few kids around age 8 down right below me. You might be able to hear them playing catch in the background. They're playing catch with Alan Benhart and with Austin Leonard, a couple of the players that are not playing today. And it's a small thing, but it's just an opportunity to engage with the kids down here and have some fun. These games, of course, the Kingsmen want to win, but they're not down here to win. They're not down here to beat these teams in a baseball game. As that ball is popped foul, third base side, everyone watches as it goes foul, and it's 0-1. Anders going to have another chance. Nobody out. But, yeah, I mean, of course the Kingsmen would love to win. They like to win, that's for sure. Coach Hudak loves to win, but it's not necessarily about that when we're down here. It's about engaging with the community, blessing the people around us, and spreading the love and the word of Jesus Christ. And we get so many great opportunities to do those three things. And like I said, something down here as simple as a couple of the guys on the team playing catch with some of the local kids from the village while the game's going on, making them feel part of the game. It's powerful, and it can have an impact on those kids. After the foul ball, it's 0-1. Davis Anders, bases loaded, a chance to score more. The 0-1 is outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Catcher sets up inside. Anders ready to go. 1-1. He swings and pops it up first base side. First baseman tracking it and runs out of room. That ball bounces into the street. And it's strike number 2 on Davis Anders. Decent crowd watching the game. Most of them behind the first base dugout rooting for the home Boca de Chavon team. Probably about 100 here at the ball game in total. And there are a couple of families sitting out in center field. You can't quite see them on your screen, but you might be able to see a couple more in right center that are sitting under the trees out there in lawn chairs, taking it in from a different vantage point. 2 strikes on Davis Anders. Tristan Harless is on deck, then Aiden Bisbano. 2 strikes to Anders. He swings, and he hits it foul. Went after that breaking ball down in the dirt, but fought it off well. An extra second or two between pitches here. Ducks on the pond for the Kingsmen here in the top of the third. Nobody out. Still plenty of opportunity to score big. Infield's in for Boca de Chavon with the play at any base. 2 strikes to Anders. Here's the pitch. And it's outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Anders, the Kingsman first baseman. He had a double his last time. And like I said in the moment, it might be the longest double that Davis Anders will ever hit. He smoked that baseball. There's no fence in left field. It bounced into one of the neighboring backyards, and it was called a ground rule double instead of a home run by our home plate umpire, much to the displeasure of Coach Joe Hudak. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Anders ready to go. Yarborough on third, the lead runner. Just outside. 3-2. The first base dugout was ready for a punch out from our home plate umpire. Anders is going to see another pitch as the count runs full. Davis Anders at one point this season was hitting upwards of 450. Still hitting a pretty good 326. It's higher than that now after that double. His double was the 4th extra base hit of the season for Davis, the Brevard College first baseman. Brevard College out near Asheville, North Carolina. 3-2 pitch. Anders high in the air and foul behind me. Davis Anders still fighting. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 5-4 the score, and Anders hits it hard. Left field, it's a base hit. Christian Burney charging around third. The throw is cut off, and 2 runs score on the Davis Anders base hit. The runs just keep on coming here this afternoon. It's 7-4, and still nobody out for the Kingsmen against Boca de Chavon. This is an offensive performance for the ages. Already 4 hits in this third inning. The Kingsmen overall have 10. And they have come from almost every single spot in the order. All but 3 players on this starting lineup have reached base. 6 of the 7 of those have hits, including now 4 players that are 2 for 2. Tristan Harless sees ball 1 right upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Give it half an inning. I'll tell you about what the team's been up to over the last couple of days here in the Dominican Republic. Last talked to you on Saturday when the Kingsmen were playing Esperanza. Harless wiggling the bat. And there's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Nobody out here, top 3. Boca de Chavon going to have their work cut out for them, but they have answered the call thus far. 3 runs in the first, another one in the second. Willow Shields is in after Nick George was removed from the game after just 4 pitches. Or rather 1-1, and that's a strike. Runners on the move to second and third. That is strike 2, and it is 1 ball and 2 strikes. It was called a strike. It did appear to be low enough that the ball skimmed the dirt after hitting the catcher's glove. Whether or not it was dropped straight down or whether or not it was just simply a low pitch was tough to tell from up here. Hartless didn't love the call, but he'll move on with his life. 1 ball and 2 strikes, runners on second and third now after that pass ball. One, 2. Outside, that was not close. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Second pitcher for Boca de Chavon after they brought in a new arm to face Christian Burney. Hartless ready to go. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kingsmen by 3 here in Boca de Chavon. Final game that is not going to be played in San Pedro de Macorís for the Kingsmen this season. Final 2 games against Academies will be out there on Thursday and Friday. 2-strike pitch, just low, and the count runs full. Tristan Hartless out of West Virginia. Not sure how many people here in the stands or on the other side of the field for Boca de Chavon have even heard of West Virginia. Not one of the super common tourist destinations. You know, one person who is well familiar with West Virginia is our translator, Kike. His wife is from West Virginia, and they spend quite a good amount of time up there in the Beckley area, for those familiar. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch, and a foul ball. Been playing for over an hour so far here today. See how many innings we get in. This has been a long 2 and just a little bit of the 3rd inning. Three balls and 2 strikes. Hartless working the count as he often does. The payoff pitch flies in, and it's fouled off and nearly comes right into the booth here with me. That ball bounced just a foot or 2 to the left of this open window. Talk about that low screen. You could see it pretty well from your angle watching from home. Just snuck over that low backstop chain link fence, of course, there to protect people standing right behind home plate, but not those in neighboring houses. 3 balls and 2 strikes it remains. Kingsmen yet to record an out against them here in the 3rd. 3-2. Hartless ready to go left-hand side. And the pitch. Strucks him out. He'll run down to first. There's a drop 3rd strike. Throw goes that way, and it's into right field. Hartless on his way to second. Lazari's going to come in to score. So will Davis Anders. And Tristan Hartless all the way around to third base. Tough one for Boca de Chavon. They get the strikeout, but the throw is wild from the catcher, and it cost them the out and 2 runs. Nine to 4 after 2 more runs come in. Josh Jackson up here just for a moment in the booth. Wonder if we'll get a couple more visits throughout this game. 1 ball and no strikes. Bisbano the next to hit. So a strikeout in the scorebook, but not an out from it. That's an unfortunate occurrence for Boca de Chavon. Bisbano cranks one foul. One ball and 1 strike. Aiden Bisbano with another runner on third base. Still nobody out here in the 3rd inning. Swings and misses. The ball goes to the backstop, but not very far. 2 strikes. Bisbano behind McNeil in the top of the order on deck. Kingsmen with 5 here in this very productive 3rd inning. I have a feeling we're not playing 7 here today. One ball, 2 strikes. Bisbano sees it go outside. Once again, the runner not moving, and it is 2-2. The Boca de Chavon catcher taking a moment to sit just off your screen after fielding that wild pitch. Everybody's feeling the heat out here today. None more so than those wearing extra padding. Oh, they call Bisbano for the swing. Strike 3. I don't think Bisbano realized it initially. He's down, and this will count as an out. First out of the inning. Top 3, 5 runs from it already for the Kingsmen. Another runner on third. First base umpire may have disagreed with our home plate umpire, but just a 1-umpire crew today here in Boca de Chavon, so no appeal allowed. 1 out, runner on third. Here's McNeil, who's 2 for 2 with a single and a triple. His family in attendance just behind him, sitting off your screen to the left. A few fans sitting under the cover. Third base side, there's a chopper toward third, and it's foul, 0-1. That had base hit written all over it. Brief delay here. Top 3. Kingsmen up 5. Runs have been scored in every half inning of this ball game. See if that streak continues in the bottom of the third with Boca de Chavon back up at the plate. Interested to see who else is going to pitch today for the Kingsmen. There's a ground ball hit toward the second baseman. They'll go to first, and it's in time to get McNeil. Run comes in to score from third. Kingsmen into double digits as the second out comes here in the 3rd inning. RBI number 6 on the season for Caden McNeil. Base is now clear for Riley Darby with 2 outs. The right-hander comes set through the palm tree, throws home, and misses high. Can't quite see him on the scoreboard, or the scoreboard kind of blocking the only glimpse that you would have of him. But even then, you would just be staring at him through the trees. In there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike here, top of the third. 2 outs. Riley Darby so far a walk and a double. He is 1 for 1. Interested to see if Willow Shields comes back out for the third. He got through the second pretty quick. It was just an unearned run against them off of an error by Davis Anders. 3 straight ground balls. 2 of them saw the runner advance and score. That's a ball. Darby ready to go left-hand side. It's Josh Jackson on deck, who does not yet have a hit. Robbed of one his last time up. That's just low. The Boca de Chavon dugout loved it. Called a ball. Next pitch coming to Riley Darby here with 2 down. He swings and taps one toward third. Hustling his way to first. The throw goes that way, and the tag is applied after the throw brought the first baseman a couple steps up the line. That ends the inning at last. 9 hitters came to the plate. 5 runners came in to score. Make that 6, a half dozen for the Kingsmen in the third. We go to the bottom half, 10-4. We'll be right back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Bottom of the third inning here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Willow Shields indeed back on the mound. And we get ready to roll here. It's Boca de Chavon, who have scored in both innings so far, but they have a tall task ahead of them now. They're down 6 after the Kingsmen are roared to life in the top half of this third inning. The defense is ready to go, so is O'Shields. Here's the first pitch of the third, and it is inside for a ball. The Kingsmen have been busy the last few days. Went to church in La Romana yesterday. It was a local Dominican church that the team visits every time we're down here. 1-0. There's a high fly ball into left. Long run for McNeil. Back toward the track. And what's the call going to be? It's probably going to be a ground rule double. And that appears to be the case. That's a nice swing. Big fly. Not quite, but it certainly was a big fly ball. Runner on second, nobody out. As Boca de Chavon try to get back into this game, that's a big step in trying to do so. They have a man in scoring position after they hit that one out toward that center field boat. First pitch. That's a strike, swing and a miss. The Dominican church, always a pleasure. The power of Google Translate, very helpful because the sermon is, of course, in Spanish. There's a strike, as is most of the worship music, but it's nice to be able to look up the song, kind of follow along with the lyrics and follow along with the meaning. There are a couple really interesting songs that they sang, including one about essentially being clay and the Father shaping you into what he needs you to be on this world, becoming essentially pottery. As that ball gets out of play, a wild pitch puts the runner on third with nobody out. There was a line in there that I remember vividly as part of the, I guess you could say, the bridge of the song. And it said, "In order to become unbreakable, first God has to break me." Essentially, if you can't put aside the things of this world and allow God to break you down, he can't build you up into the Christian that you have been called and put into this world to be. As that ball's outside, the runner thought about trying to break for home after that ball was dropped by O'Shields, but he sticks around on third base. But anyway, we had the Dominican church service, and then it was a beach day. There's a beach part of Casa de Campo, Playa Manitas, and many of the guys ended up spending a few hours of the afternoon down there enjoying the beautiful Caribbean water. There's a ground ball toward Gino Lazzari, deep enough to score the runner, and it gets under the glove of Gino and into center field. Runner on his way to second, and now turning but stopping before heading for third. The ball was under the glove of Lazzari, and then it briefly got away from Tristan Harless. Run scores to make it 10-5. The runs just keep on coming. And Boca de Chavon back on the board. That'll be scored as an error. Ground ball would have scored him regardless, but the error making it so there are 0 outs here in this inning. 3-hole man back up at the top of the order. Boca de Chavon hitting 11. Kingsmen hitting 10. Runner on second, nobody out, first pitch. There's a ground ball, didn't go very far. It bounces into the screen, and it's 0-1. Partly cloudy here in Boca de Chavon, but plenty of sun for those in attendance and those on the field to deal with. We shouldn't expect anything less here in the DR. 0-1. There's a swing and a foul tip, 0-2. Christian Burney working well behind the plate. Willow Shields had to come into the game, I think, a little earlier than he planned on, but he's done well in this extended relief role. The next delivery. There's a line drive, right center field. Long run for Harless, not going to get there. That ball's heading to the edge of Boca de Chavon. Runner on his way to third. That ball's into the road, and we'll see where he ends up getting put. Run comes in to score, and they're going to put the runner on second base. He would have had third base easily. And Willow Shields and that batter coming together and sharing a few words after that line drive. That was a scorcher into the right center field gap. So they will send him to second, an RBI double. And I'll tell you, if there's a fence out there, it's a triple easy. That man was flying as we see Nick Osborne walk out to the mound. He's going to take this moment for a mound visit, and we're going to take this moment to step aside. More on the other side of the break. 10-6 here in Boca de Chavon. Willow Shields out of the game, and a new pitcher to the mound when we come back. current score 10-6, and it is Nick Osborne that is going to come in to pitch here in the bottom of the third inning, facing the cleanup man for this Boca de Chavon side, one of the Dominican teams the Kingsmen are playing out here. Play Paulino Academy and the Hiroshima Toyo Carp Academy over the few coming days. There's a big swing. Runner on second, nobody out. This game's always special. You never really know who's going to be on the other side playing against. This is not an academy like we see a lot of the other teams that practice and play together. This is just a collection of local talent. There's a foul ball. No certain age group, nothing like that. The cleanup man wearing the Toronto Blue Jays jersey for Boca de Chavon. He struck out swinging last time. That was the first strikeout and the only strikeout for Willow Shields in his relief appearance. Nick Osborne trying to get it out here, and he gets a swing and a miss ahead of that slider. That's out number one here in the bottom of the third. Word from Coach Preston Hudak is we are playing until approximately 1 o'clock. It is currently 12:15, so 45 minutes between now and the end of the game, or at least when we will not start a new inning. Lefty bat now up with one down and a runner on second base. There's a strike. Took the time between pitchers when Nick Osborne was warming up to head down to the field, see how things were going. Not quite as hot down there as I would have assumed. There's a strike in the knees to make it 0-2. Nick Osborne commanding the zone well. He teaches it, and he has preached it so far in his relief appearance. Looking for his second strikeout in a row. Bernie sets up in the pitch. There's a chopper toward the first base foul line, and it does bounce foul to the on-deck man. Runner heading back to second base. 2 doubles in this inning for Boca de Chavon. They have hit 3 doubles. The Kingsmen have hit 4 doubles. There have been a combined 7 doubles between these two teams. The Kingsmen also have a triple in this ball game. Another 0-2. Osborne just misses outside. Thought he had strike 3 with the backdoor pitch. Instead, it's 1-2. One-two pitch. There's a line drive down the right field line, hooking toward the corner. It's a fair ball. And now confusion. That ball looked fair by about 5 feet. Coach Joe Hudak on his way out to talk about it. It all depends on where the foul line actually is. There's a line painted that kind of ends, and if we're following that plane, it was fair by quite some margin. But there's also a wooden post down toward the road, and if that's acting as the foul pole, then it very, very well may be foul. So we'll see what the eventual call is. It certainly looked like a fair ball. The batter is currently standing at second base. And unless he gets called back, it's going to be 10-7 on another RBI double. That would be the 8th. And it is. So 10-7 off of the RBI double. Second hit of the game for the man standing over at second base. He singled in the first off of O'Shields. 10-7 the score. Bottom 3, 1 out. Playing another 45 minutes here at Boca de Chavon. Griffin Leonard here with you on the call. Thanks for joining us. If you're watching this after the fact, hopefully been able to provide you with some good insight information into what's going on here today at the ballpark and across the trip. This is one that I love coming on, as do the players. It's a big reason why a lot of the guys that played for the team last year and maybe even the year before decided to come back. That's in the dirt. It's a big reason why Nick George wanted to come back for half of this season. Kingsmen have another returning player. Guys call him Stu. He actually works as a Secret Service agent now. Played for the team, I believe it was 4 years ago, and he's back just for this trip. There's a fly ball into center. Josh Jackson ranging back to his left makes the catch. Runner tagging from second. Throw goes to third, but it's off line to the right side. And that'll allow the runner to be safe, and it got out of play, which will allow the runner to score. 10-8 on an awkward sacrifice fly. The runs just keep flowing. It'll be scored a fly out technically. Runner advanced to third, tagging up, and then to home on an error by Josh Jackson. The ball was arm side, so to the left of Riley Darby at third base. Took him away from the Kingsman dugout, trying to chase the ball down, couldn't corral it, and the run comes in to score. So bases empty, 2 down, and a first pitch foul ball to make it 0-1. Top of the fourth, we'll see Jackson, Ritzma, Yarborough. Lefty at the plate. 2-run ball game here in Boca de Chavon. 0-1. That is just outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ground ball toward first. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And up the interstate it goes, rolling down the road. That passes right next to this field. It's pretty interesting to go to Google Maps, look at the satellite view of this place. If you get the chance, Google Maps, Boca de Chavon, just to the right of Casa de Campo, little village right there in the corner on the water, and you'll see the field immediately. It's smack in the middle of the village. Big field. It's not the nicest field you'll ever come across, of course. The infield and the outfield, as you can tell, are identical. There's a swing and a miss to end the inning. But it is certainly worth a check. Why don't you check it out while we go to break? We'll be back in 2 minutes. 10-8, the score. We go to the fourth on the other side. This is the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Offense has been the name of this game as we go to the fourth. Kingsmen up 2. It's 10-8 on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. I'm Griffin Leonard here with you as always as we wrap up this Kingsmen summer season with some high-level Dominican Kingsmen baseball. Looking forward to a couple more games before we wrap this season up for good. That's ball one. Josh Jackson, the leadoff man, trying to join the hit club today. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout. Kingsman scored 6 in the third. Boca de Chavon said not so fast. They put 4 back on the board in response, so they're still down 2. But if they can hold the Kingsmen here, they'll be in a good spot. Sending a pitcher down to warm up as we speak. Josh Jackson, then Ritzma, then Yarborough. There's a strike on the swing. 1 ball, 1 strike here, top 4. Once again, would like to thank our Boca de Chavon hosts opening their doors to us, and to me specifically, able to set this live stream up quite literally in the living room of someone's home. The catcher ended up in a sitting position after that pitch. The count now 2-1. There's a big cut from Jackson. Strike number 2. The catcher threw down to third, thinking that was strike 3. The count is 2-2, sir. He threw down to third. The third baseman knew there were only 2 strikes, so he did not see the ball coming. And here comes the first baseman to talk to the home plate umpire as well. But the count is 2-2. It is 2-2, folks. See what Josh Jackson can do after that slight bit of confusion. Boca de Chavon feel they've already gotten this out. Out of the windup, here's the 2-2 pitch. That's in the dirt, so it's ball 3. The Boca de Chavon catcher continuing to have some fun out there here today. Some afternoon baseball nearing 12:30. I've been told that we're going to try to wrap things up by 1. Very well might be the last inning of this game if that's the case. Jackson swings at the 3-2 and goes down. So Boca de Chavon get that out anyway. A much better start to this fourth for the home team. Took them 7 hitters to get an out. Then they got 3 in a row. But the Kingsmen had already done the damage by that time. Here they get the leadoff man with the strikeout. Here comes Mason Ritzma, who doubled his last time down the right field line. First pitch. That's a ball. The reason this game needs to wrap up by 1 is because the Kingsmen are not done with their day the second that this game is over. 1 ball, no strikes. Ritzma takes a strike on the outside corner. The Kingsmen are heading to Hogar del Nino, a local school in La Romana. Of course, it is summer, so it is more of a daycare at this time of the year. Kingsmen will be heading down there this afternoon, as we often do, as the 1-1 goes low. 2 balls and a strike. Be heading over first. We'll get a little tour of the facility, see what kind of public school system and infrastructure they have here in La Romana. Then we'll spend some time up in the infant and toddler rooms. The Kingsmen will simply get to kind of just have some baby time for half an hour. 2-1, that ball bounced foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's one of the more relaxing parts of this trip, especially after a long game. sit there and vibe with some of the young ones. No language barrier when they don't speak themselves. And anyway, so we'll visit with the young ones, and then we'll come back out. They have a big kind of outdoor play area. We'll hang out with some of the elementary kids, probably around 1st to 3rd grade, if I had to wager. A lot of times they'll bring out some paint, and we'll get to paint their faces. They'll paint ours. Makes for some fun photo opportunities at the very end. 2 strikes to Mason Ritzma, 1 down here in the top of the 4th. The lefty's ready in the pitch. Ground ball toward the shortstop. Hops up. He fields cleanly regardless and throws out Ritz for out number 2. That was a wicked hop, but the shortstop did well with it. And 2 quick outs here in the 4th. Boca de Chavon trying to hold the Kingsmen for nothing for the first time. The Kingsmen have scored in every inning. They've scored multiple runs in every inning. That streak certainly at risk here in the top of the 4th inning. Meanwhile, Boca de Chavon have also scored in every inning. They very well could power and take the lead if they can hold the Kingsmen in the top half. We'll see if Brady Yarborough has anything to say about that. He is 2 for 2 today, had a big day at the plate. First pitch. Ran inside on him, got the back leg out of the way, so it's 1-0. The ball actually escaped through a little hole and ended up getting out of play foul. It also seems to have messed up our live camera. Folks, I might have to step away here for a minute and go fix that. I'm looking at our live camera now. I've got it on my phone, and it has been jarred to the left after it was maybe slightly messed with by that ball. There's a strike. 2 on Yarborough now, so I guess if he gets out quickly, then we won't have to worry about too much. But if another hitter comes to the plate, I'm going to run away for a minute and be back. Christian Burney is on deck for the Kingsmen if Yarborough reaches. And that's right there for strike number 2. Excuse me, I had the count wrong. That first pitch was a ball, so it's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yarborough trying to get the Kingsmen rolling here in the 4th inning. The offense has come easy at times for them here today. Easy for both teams. Boca de Chavon trying to start this 4th and stop it just as quickly. It's 2-2 now as that is outside. We're past 12:30 local time here on the southern coast of the Dominican Republic. Kingsmen will venture all along this southern coast. The plan is to head to Santo Domingo at some point, the nation's capital. I know we'll be in San Pedro a couple more times as well. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yarborough ready to go in the pitch. That's ball 3, and it bounced off the backstop, and I believe it hit the home plate umpire in the back, but he appears undisturbed. 3 balls and 2 strikes with the count full. Another 2-strike pitch, this time 3-2, and this time fouled off. We'll be back on Thursday, Kingsmen and Paulino Academy. That is going to be a good ball game. You won't want to miss it. Paulino gave the Kingsmen Academy a lot to handle. Kingsmen beat them 5-4 in February. That should be a good one. Stay tuned for that on Thursday. 3-2 pitch. That's at the top of the zone for called strike 3. We'll be back for the bottom of the 4th. See if Boca de Chavon can take their first lead when we get back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Bottom four, we're back as the Kingsmen try to hold the lead here against Boca de Chavon. First pitch strike to the lefty hitter, Nick Osborne, back out there to pitch. Thanks for joining us. I'm Griffin Leonard here with you today. Kingsmen did not score in the top of the fourth. That's the first time either team has been held to a 0. There's a line drive right center field. Long run for Tristan Harless, and he did not get there. It'll be another double. That ball all the way toward that street out there in right center field. Boca de Chavon just continue to pound the baseball. That is the third of the 4 innings that have started with a hit. Boca de Chavon have gotten their leadoff man on all 4 innings of this ball game. The last 2 innings have started with a double. And we have seen 4 doubles. All 4 base hits have been doubles from Boca de Chavon in the 3rd and 4th innings combined. So we're past the 2-hour mark. Very well might be the last inning of this ball game. It's 10-8, the bottom of the 4th inning. There's a swing and a pop-up, right side, and on to the top of the dugout of Boca de Chavon. It's a foul ball. Kingsmen holding down a 2-run lead, bottom 4th. Looking for the win. It would be win number 13 on the season. If they wrap this week up perfect in the DR, they'd finish the season 15-4. Would not be a bad year for a Kingsmen team that is a little short-handed roster-wise. We've talked about that as a theme this season. Not a whole lot of pitching depth. That's part of the reason why assistant coach Nick Osborne is out there pitching right now in this high-leverage situation. 1 ball and no strikes. Also did not help that Nick George had to be removed from the game after just 4 pitches. Yet to hear an official update on that. I'll be asking Coach post-game about Georgie. After the ball high, Bernie sets up. The pitch comes home. Line drive foul into the trees, and it's strike 2. Could be a big first out for the Kingsmen trying to hold this lead. No guarantee of another inning in this ball game. Boca de Chavon will be gunning for the win right here. 8, 9, and 10 were due up here in the 4th inning. The 9-hole swings and misses at strike 3. Strikeout for Nick Osborne. That's his 3rd. And it's out number 1 here in the 4th. Mentioned it during the last half inning, but if you missed it, the Kingsmen heading to a local school here in the DR after this. Going to hang out with some of the kids there that are essentially in daycare right now. That's the reason that this game is going to try to wrap up by 1, as there's a swing and a miss, because we don't want to get there and have all the kids be picked up already. We're running on a time crunch. 0-1. Left-hander at the plate. Big lefty, ready to swing. Tying run at the plate. Runner takes off for 3rd. Pitches in the dirt, knocked down by Bernie, so no chance to throw the runner out, and it's 0-2. No harm, no foul if you can get this guy at the plate. Man on deck swinging 2 wooden bats. Try to increase that bat speed by the time he comes up to the plate. 0-2, Christian Bernie sets up high. Fastball, that's a good take. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Got it right there at the shoulders. But no swing from the lefty, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes here. 10-8 the score. The recorded version of this game, we were live Monday morning. Foul ball. Remains 1-2. This game started at 10:30 local time, at least just right around it. One ball and 2 strikes. There's a swing and a pop-up up on the infield. Should be playable for Riley Darby, and he makes the catch. That's a big out for the Kingsmen. A pop out for out number 2, and the runner stays put at third base. 2 outs, bottom 4. Here comes the 11-man for Boca de Chavon. Big moments here in this ball game. Nick Osborne trying to get out of his second inning, came in with nobody out in the bottom of the third after a couple of doubles and an error-plagued O'Shields in the start of that inning. There's a swing and a miss at a pitch that was off the plate, 0-1. Osborne came in, gave up a double himself, but outside of that, 2 strikeouts and a flyout, was able to extinguish that flame. And now, after the early double, trying to avoid any more damage from the home team. There's a foul ball right above our heads, so it's 0-2. 12:42 right now. We'll see if we play another inning if this one ends quickly. We've been playing for 2 hours and 7 minutes. 0-2, runner on third, 2 outs. Christian Birney sets up shop. Osborne's pitch is high. That one was a bit too high to tempt the hitter. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One ball and 2 strikes. Lefty ready. Osborne set. Throws home. Line drive. Center field. A base hit. Runner trots home from third. It is 10-9. One-run ball game. There's the line drive, left center field. That's going to head all the way into the bushes. It'll be a ground rule double that should put the runners at second and third. They throw the ball in anyway, but time has been called. It's going to send the runner back to third base. Here with 2 down. The base runner scored and is walking back into the dugout, but he's going to have to head back to third. And this is going to get interesting here. That's the tying run. So Coach Hudak is not going to let this slide. The home plate umpire called it a ground rule double. And that base runner still does not realize it. He's in the dugout, has no idea that he needs to go back to third base. It is 10-9. The tying run is on third. The winning run, or rather the go-ahead run, is at second. Coach Joe Hudak, Kike, and the Boca de Chavon coach are all out there right now. I still don't believe that base runner. Now he's just been informed that he needs to head back to third base. That took way too long. But he is now finally putting the helmet back on. He's going to head back to third. What a big hit, though, with 2 down off of Osborne. This game has been full of extra base hits. And now it all comes down to this. We will see. Perhaps we will play 5. We do not know. It's 1:45 right now. We've been told 1 o'clock's the cutoff. But I'm wondering if it gets that much closer to 1, if they would even start a new inning or just call it a few minutes early. 2 down, second and third with 2 outs. A 1-run ball game here in the bottom of the 4th. And Nick Osborne trying to wrap this one up with the Kingsmen in front. Infield back with 2 outs. And the first pitch. Swing and a miss. Blew the fastball right by him at the top of the zone. The other side effect of that long stretch without any baseball, with the confusion, Osborne had to stand there without throwing a pitch for a long time. 0-1. And they picked a second and safe the call. Tried to pull a quick one on the Boca de Chavon back base runner. And it was fairly close, but he got there back safely. 0-1 still the count. Nick Osborne, assistant coach on this team, former pitcher at Penn State Shenango. 0-1 pitch. That's high. Osborne, a D3 college pitcher for a number of years, played for this team, then was a player coach in 2025. Coached with the academy and now coaching with this team as well. Called in to pitch in a big moment. Here's the 1-1, and it's a tapper to second. Gino Lazzari has it. They go to first, and the side is retired. The Kingsmen walk off the field, and we'll see if we indeed play one more. 10-9 is the score. Boca de Chavon jogging onto the field. We will step aside, and I'll let you know what's going on when we come back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Well, folks, we're playing one more here today at Boca de Chavon. Christian Burning going to lead things off. The first pitch. There's a strike. There was a conference between the two head coaches. Kike was over there as well as the home plate umpire. Based on the body language. As the 0-1 going to come in out of the windup. And Bernie hits it left side through the infield, and it's a single. Christian Bernie a round turn, but he will not try for second. Leadoff base hit for Christian Bernie. It's his first hit of the game. He joins the party. And here comes a man with two of those. Gino Lazzari, a single and a double. Based on the body language of Coach Joe Hudak, I think he was trying to get the ball game to be called to be over. I don't think Boca de Chavon wanted to call it only down one run. They almost were able to come back in the bottom of the fourth there as that ball gets under the catcher and Bernie onto second base as a result. The tying run left at third, the go-ahead run at second. They want to keep playing. The Kingsmen want to keep playing, of course, but they're on a time schedule. So I think everyone around here is hoping that this is a quick but entertaining final inning of the ball game. 1 ball and 1 strike to Gino Lazzari, runner on second base in Christian Bernie, and the pitch is outside. Been a fun day out here at Boca de Chavon. Over 2 hours of game time already through 4. Every half inning has seen runs scored except for the top of the fourth with the Kingsmen at the plate. Lazzari swings through that one. See what the official count is, whether it's 2-1 or 2-2. But it is not shown here. So Lazzari ready to go. Runner on second, I believe it is 2-1. Bernie a decent lead off of second base. Pitcher working out of the stretch. That's in the dirt, and it goes off the catcher's glove and out of play. Runner on third. That's what happens with that low backstop. If the ball bounces up, it very easily can sneak out of play. Runner on third now with nobody out. So a chance for the Kingsmen to tack on an insurance run here in the top of the fifth. There's a swing and a pop-up foul. So now certainly 2 strikes on Lazzari. It's a full count. Christian Bernie is 90 feet away. The Kingsmen are up by just 1 run. Three and 2. Lazzari digs in. He's ready to go, and the pitch is low, and it bounces out of play. So that's going to score Christian Bernie. He comes in to score on the wild pitch. Lazzari on first with the walk. And the Kingsmen back up by 2 here in the game's final inning. They get back on the scoreboard after they didn't score in the fourth. Two-run lead. Here comes Davis Anders. Pretty good lead off a second. Throw down. Lazzari's in there. The throw's knocked down by the shortstop, who gets to it eventually. There's a stolen base. It's kind of that vault steal that we see the Kingsmen do every once in a while. Well, where Lazzari will start shuffling off of first. some big shuffles to get pretty far off of first base, but he doesn't quite take off from the jump. So a lot of times you can get that big secondary without the first baseman or the dugout alerting anyone that a runner's breaking, and then the second that ball's in the catcher's glove, you take off for second. Gino Lazzari slides in with a stolen base. He's in scoring position, and now Davis Anders fouls it off. Got just a piece of it without the bat going too far around. It's 1-1. Davis Anders hit that long fly ball to left field. I was talking to him down in the dugout a few minutes ago. He said, Griff, I hope you've got that in the scorebook as a tank. And I said, Davis, I've got it in there as the longest double in Kingsmen baseball history. And I think he's going to have to be happy with that. 11-9. Still on second, Lazzari, and an outside corner strike to make it 1-2 against Anders. Two-strike pitch. Anders toward third, and it's through. Lazzari will stop as Davis Anders has himself his third hit of the ball game. Another single for the Brevard College man, and here comes Harless, who's looking to join the hit club. Harless, Bisbano, and Josh Jackson are the only three on this starting lineup that do not yet have a hit. This has been a fruitful game. And it is sort of fitting. During the morning Bible study today, we talked about fruits of the Spirit. Brady Yarborough, Kingsman shortstop, led the team in that morning Bible study. And it seems fitting that the offense has bore maybe as much fruit as we've seen in a single game in terms of its offensive production on that following afternoon. 1 ball and no strikes. Just a few seconds from 1 o'clock, and this is the downside of playing another inning. This game and this trip is going to now take quite a little bit longer. As Harless ready to go. Runner takes off for second. Ball's in the dirt, and it gets away. Gets out of play, so Lazzari's going to come in to score. Davis Anders going to stick around on second base, and that run makes it 12. We've got to get 6 more outs in this game between the two teams. Then the teams will, of course, as I talked about on Saturday, come together as one. Coach Hudak or one of the coaches will share the gospel. One of them will likely give their testimony, translated, of course, by Kike. And then we'll pass out some Spanish Bibles to the group here at the village of Boca de Chavon. By the time all of that's said and done, we very well could be getting out of here close to 2 o'clock at this rate. Tristan Harless sees that one fly high. That's up and in, too. Harless getting out of the way. That's ball 4, so he'll head down to first base, and Bisbano will come to the plate here. Here comes the Boca de Chavon coach. We'll step aside, be back in a couple for more Kingsman baseball on the air. 12-9 here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. We have a pinch hitter for Aiden Bisbano. Alan Benhart is going to get an at-bat here in the 5th inning. He did not start today. He'll get a pinch hit at-bat here in place of Bisbano, with runners on second and first and nobody out. First pitch to Tex, and that's by the catcher. Both runners taking off, and they make it 90 feet. So second and third with a 1-0 count for Alan Benhart. Benhart's been unbelievable this season for the Kingsmen. Batting average of .396, OPS up over 1,000. This is his 60th plate appearance of the season, second to only Josh Jackson. And scratch that, second to Josh Jackson and Riley Darby. Benhart ready to go. Couple in scoring position for him. 1 ball, no strikes. Benhart sees a strike at the top of the zone, so the count's all square at 1 apiece. One more shout out to our lovely hosts here at Boca de Chavon for letting us not only come and play at this field against the best that the town has to offer, but also for letting us into your homes and letting us run this broadcast. 2 balls and 1 strike. Able to set up out the window of one of the locals' living rooms here in Boca de Chavon. Gotta say, I love the decorations. They've got Christmas up in July. Merry Christmas to my right and a nice little tree to my left. Navidad in Julio, I guess as they would say, rather than Christmas in July. There's Benhart hitting at foul third base sign, strike 2. Kingsmen as a whole this season hitting .322 in the average category, OBP, on base percentage. Out of every 100 trips to the plate, the Kingsmen are getting on base 45 of those. Not quite 50%, but pretty good. Benhart fighting here with 2 strikes, and he takes a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We'll see if McNeil hits on deck. He is scheduled to. My guess is we wouldn't see another pinch hitter until the cleanup spot if we were to see another one. Rather than take out a position player, you just slot somebody into the extra hitter position. That's where Mason Ritzma is. 2-2. That's ball 3. Three and 2. Benhart trying to win it with the count full. And that is uncompetitive. Benhart will walk to first. And the top of the order comes around. Nick Osborne with the assist down by the camera. I'm going to have to run down there and adjust it a little bit more. That wild pitch knocked everything off of cue of our live camera down by the field. Caden McNeil swings at the first pitch he sees. They'll go to the plate for 1, and that's the only run they'll get. 1 out here. I'm going to walk down and adjust that camera a little bit more. We'll keep things live. Riley Darby coming up to the plate, 1 out. Audio will be on. I'll be right back. But the game's still going right here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Back here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network, at least I am. If you've been watching, you've seen a wild pitch that has scored a run. And now Riley Darby swings and misses. And they'll now throw down to first to get him with the drop third strike. A little confusion there. And time now being requested by the first baseman. 2 outs. Another run came in while I was away to make it 13-9. Kingsmen up 4. Here's Josh Jackson. He has one more chance to join the club and add a hit to his tally. He's 0 for 3 today with a fly out and 2 strikeouts. Jackson ready to go. Runner on second, runner on third. 2 outs. Jackson hits it hard into center field. It's down in front of the center fielder. 1 run comes in to score. Here comes McNeil to make it 2. Josh Jackson with a 2-out hit to score 2 runs and make it 15-9. That's the time you want the 3-hole hitter to come alive for the team. He scores 2 more. It's a 6-run lead, and here comes Mason Ritzema with a runner on second and 2 outs. Jackson advanced to second on the throw. He'll be credited with a 2-run single. First pitch. Outside. One ball, no strikes, 2 outs. Final inning of this ball game. Ritzema takes ball 2. If Ritzema keeps this one going, Brady Yarborough would hit with 2 down. Kingsmen have not batted around in an inning of this ball game, but they've gotten close a couple of times. Here's the pitch. 2-0s in there. Jackson back over to second base after taking a big secondary. In that big third inning, the Kingsmen hit all but 1. In the second, that saw them score 2 runs, they brought 7 of their 10 hitters to the plate. They have not yet seen all 10 hit in a single frame. Ritzema swings and misses. That ball's behind the catcher. Jackson didn't see it. It is a live ball, and it's 2-2. Kingsmen up 6 runs. The most that Boca de Chavon have scored in an inning has been 4. Kingsmen have scored 5 in the 5th. A little bit of a cushion. As they pick to second base, the shortstop knocks it down and then shares a few joking words with Josh Jackson after the two of them almost ran into each other. In addition to having this game up on YouTube, of course you'll be hearing that and seeing that when it's available. We'll also have Coach Hudak's post-game thoughts as there's ball 3, runner moves to third on the wild pitch. Yarborough is on deck, 2 for 3 today. See who pitches the 5th inning for the Kingsmen. Nick Osborne has thrown the last 2 been tagged for 4 hits, including 3 doubles, but he's also picked up 3 strikeouts and got them out of a huge jam in the bottom of the 4th. Full count to Ritzma. Catcher sets up. 3-2 pitch. That's just high. Kingsmen will bring their 10th hitter to the plate here in the 5th inning. Brady Yarbrough going to get one more chance. Here's another trip to the mound. See if a new pitcher is on the way. And he is indeed. We'll be right back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Back here, top 5. Griffin Leonard here with you for the final moments of this ball game. Kingsmen looking to add anything left onto the scoreboard, then they'll look to hold down the fort in the bottom of the 5th. Brady Yarbrough, the 10th and final hitter of this Kingsmen order that was set to due to come up. He will hit for the 4th time here. New arm with runners on the corners. First pitch. It's a strike. Once again, curious to see who will pitch this 5th and final inning on the mound for the Kingsmen. Nick Osborne has been out there for the last 2. Wouldn't be surprised to see them go to a new arm to try to get the final 3 outs. There's a chopper toward the third baseman, and it goes through and into left field. 1 run scores. Ritzma on his way to third, and Yarbrough all the way to second base. Runner coming to the plate, and the tag is in time. Ritzma with a late lunge toward home plate, trying to catch the Dominicans off guard. They recovered well and made the play. 1 run scores on the double from Yarbrough. We go to the bottom of the 6th, or rather the bottom of the 5th. It is 16-3 right here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. 7-run lead for the Kingsmen as we go to the final half inning of play here. Kingsmen looking for win number 13 in 2026. Sitting at 12-4. They are 3 outs away from win number 13 with 2 more games following this left to be played. Later today, the Kingsmen will go visit a local school in La Romana, enjoy some time with the kids there, probably get faces painted. That's always a fun part of it. There's a first pitch ground ball foul back of home plate. Nick Osborne is indeed back on the mound for the Kingsmen here in the 5th, facing off against the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for Boca de Chavon. They've put up a fight, that's for sure. They're going to need a big 5th inning if they are to equal or best their result from last year when they tied the Kingsmen. That was a low-scoring affair. If I'm right, I believe that final score was 4-4. Defensive battle that saw neither team come out with the win. 1 ball and 1 strike to the leadoff man here in the 5th. Osborne's pitch hit high into the air, shallow center, not even going to leave the infield. Brady Yarbrough makes the catch. That's a quick first out. Here's the cleanup man. 2 strikeouts for him so far today. First pitch strike from Osborne. Kingsmen will be back at it on the field on Thursday. Don't miss that one. It'll start live for you at 10 o'clock. There's a chopper foul. We may get that one going close to 11. We have a tentative start time at 10 o'clock, of course. The concept of Dominican time has been talked about a couple of times on both these broadcasts and in Coach Hudak's post games. Sometimes the schedule gets changed last second. Sometimes it gets changed when we're here. You never really know, and we'll see what time that game gets going on Thursday, but expect a 10 to 11 o'clock window for the live stream to get going on the Kingsman Baseball YouTube page as the cleanup man strikes out for the 3rd time here today. That's a good slider from Osborne. He got him with that pitch last time. 2 quick outs. Kingsmen are an out away from winning this ball game. But here comes a man who has hit the ball well today. He's 2 for 2, a single and a double. I know last year we played a fella that had played previously in the minor leagues. This very well might be him. I'm not 100% sure. It's, of course, been a year since we've been out here to Boca de Chavon. But he's certainly got a pretty good swing. He takes ball 1, caught nicely on a bounce by Christian Burney. But we'll be back Thursday. I'll have the recorded version for you by the end of that day. Live version in the morning from Paulino. That's a beautiful venue. That'll be probably the nicest field we play at over the course of the trip. 2 balls and no strikes. Nice bit of seating there as well. The former academy, for those unfamiliar, of Fernando Tatis Jr. and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., both major leaguers, used to play their ball at Paulino. There's a strike. Fly ball. This could do it, except Josh Jackson's watching that one fly. Oh, boy, it went all the way to the boat. Runner on his way to second. He's going to cruise in there. And it is going to be his 2nd double. What a swing. This kid's electric. Maybe kid's the wrong word. That's a grown man. And he has now put together a couple of grown man swings. That ball hit way over the head of Josh Jackson on a line. He didn't even try to catch it. He just watched it fly. And it rolled right to the base of that boat in center field. Runner on second, 2 down. This guy's 0 for 2 today, a ground out and a fly out, and he fouls off the first pitch. Kingsmen trying to keep Boca de Chavon from reaching double digits in this one. There's a ground ball to Darby. This could do it. Throw to first, and the ball game is over. The double doesn't haunt them, and the Kingsmen secure the victory. We'll be back in 30 seconds with a quick post-game wrap-up, and then we'll call it a day. 16-9, Kingsmen win. We'll be back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. 16-9, your final. Kingsmen defeat Boca de Chavon. Second game of the trip is the second win of the trip for the Kingsmen. They move to 13-4. They'll take a few minutes here to chat with these Boca de Chavon players and spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. Looking forward to that as always. I know Coach and the guys are as well. Final score 16-9. Willow Shields picks up the win. Pitched into the third and saw the Kingsmen take the lead. Nick Osborne, credit to him for slamming the door shut despite a ferocious hitting effort from Boca de Chavon. They were electric today. Over the course of this ball game, Boca de Chavon had 11 hits. Out of those 11 hits, 6 of them were doubles. They lit it up. Both teams did. It was a heck of a ball game. Thanks for joining us. 16-9, the final score. I'm Griffin Leonard saying so long. We'll talk to you on Thursday in San Pedro when the Kingsmen battle Paulino Academy. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back on Thursday. Have a great day. Thanks for joining us on the Kingsmen Baseball Network.